and perch, both known to have elevated mercury levels. In the interview with The Times, he said that he had experienced severe brain fog and had trouble retrieving words. He went in for a blood test and said the test showed his mercury levels were 10 times what the Environmental Protection Agency considers safe. In the interview, Mr. Kennedy said he was certain his diet had caused the poisoning. I love tuna fish sandwiches. I ate them all the time, he said. Oh, it's not even sushi. He's just eating fucking tuna fish sandwiches.
That's a lot of tuna fish sandwiches.
I think you might have too much tuna, sir.
That's a little bit too much tuna. It is. And I don't understand how his toe survived this, because it sounds like he would have had the case of the King's disease.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got gout. Cheryl, rub my feet. He also spoke about his heart issues, as well as contracting hepatitis C from intravenous drug use in his youth. And, of course, the spasmodic dysphonia that causes his voice to sound strained. So going back to that, like it does seem like the brainworms thing was a very funny package to throw all this other stuff in that would get called out on the campaign trail. Like, oh, you did, injectionable drugs. Just get it all out there.
Yeah.
Also, like, within the testimony that they were talking about, I guess it was like during a divorce from his other wife, and it was...
Was it the one that killed herself afterwards?
No, I think this was the second wife.
A different wife.
Who was like, he ruined his ability to make money by getting a neurological disease that hurt his voice. So I don't know how this guy's going to keep making money. You gotta go.
Damn. I rest my case.
His campaign, on the other hand, they heavily leaned into that brainworms thing because they know that it's going to get a bunch of attention. And he said in an official tweet, I offer to eat 5 more brainworms and still beat President Trump and President Biden in a debate. So, yeah, I mean, cool. Good to know that our current options for president of the United States are A, an elderly man who is ruining his chances of being elected by helping to perpetuate a genocide, B, an elderly man who is a criminal fascist and only wants to regain power so that he can avoid jail time and sell out the country to line his own pockets, and now C, an elderly man who has literal fucking brainworms and thinks that vaccines cause autism. So, what a country.
USA. Waving that flag. Saw a lot of that flag this week, and so many people are like, oh God, you go to DC and you just feel so patriotic, you feel connected to your country. And I'm happy to report I didn't feel fucking shit.
Like, this place exists in a bubble of reality that doesn't exist anywhere else in the country.
It's a lovely...
The economy's doing great. Why is no one talking about it?
It's a lovely town, but also objectively probably the most evil place on the face of the earth. There are just Hitler particles emanating out of every surface. But back to the news. Let's briefly set aside the politics and talk about something we can all agree on.
Yeah.
Orcas wrecking shit. That's cool.
We love it.
We like when orcas
destroy things.
They're like, hey, wait, I'm huge. I don't have to put up with this shit.
Yeah. I'm going to sink your literal 50-foot yacht.
Yeah, and folks, it happened again. There was a bit of a winter lull, but they're back. Maybe it has something to do with the changing the seasons. Feels like it's been a little while since we've heard from our good friends, the orcas. But they are back, and they're better than ever, having successfully sunk a yacht in the Strait of Gibraltar off the coast of Spain. Wait, I know that song because it happened all last summer. It was the song of last summer, and it's back.
Do I hear music? Ooh, yep, yeah, that's the
beautiful whale song.
Yeah, the orcas sound, and they are coming now that it's summertime. They are ready to fuck shit up.
Yeah, water's warm.
It's time to party.
So last summer, of course, we could not go a week or two without seeing a new story about orcas attacking boats, causing general chaos, or mysteriously showing up where they're not supposed to be, all in what appears to have been a general threat to the species of humankind, the ones that have been fucking this shit up.
They were like, hey, just so you know, you gotta stop fucking around or we're gonna get real in a second.
They're sending a very clear message, stop fucking with the environment. We can literally feel the oceans heating up. We live in them. We speak orca. They told us that's what they've been saying. That's why they've become so fierce. So there you go. Still, though, the orca attacks seemed to calm down in recent months. But that's probably because they decided to regroup and strategize. And now, as we move into the summer months again, the attacks have resumed. And this week, they are back in the news for what might be their most intense interaction yet. Here is The Guardian with more.
An unknown number of orcas have sunk a yacht after ramming it in Moroccan waters in the Strait of Gibraltar, Spain's Maritime Rescue Services said, in the latest in a series of similar incidents involving the animals. The vessel, Albarin Cognac, which measured 15 meters or 49 feet in length and carried 2 people, encountered the highly social apex predators, also known as killer whales, at 9 a.m. local time on Sunday. The passengers reported feeling sudden blows to the hull and rudder before the boat started taking on water. After alerting the rescue services, a nearby oil tanker took them on board and transported them to Gibraltar. The yacht was left adrift and eventually sank. The incident is the latest example of recurring orca rammings around the Gibraltar Strait that separates Europe from Africa and off the Atlantic coast of Portugal and northwestern Spain. Experts believe them to involve a subpopulation of about 15 individuals given the designation Gladys. According to the research group GT Atlantic Orca, which tracks populations of the Iberian orca subspecies, there have been nearly 700 interactions since orca attacks on ships in the region were first reported in May 2020. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Gladys.
Gladys decided to rally the troops and said, look, half a year, we're going to go, I don't know, we'll go to California. It's nice over there.
Yeah.
And then don't worry, though. It's almost Memorial Day in the States. Time to go back. They know our holidays and no one else's.
Yeah, they
Time
do.
to go back to the Strait of Gibraltar and show them what we've learned by torturing seals all winter.
Yeah. They've probably been breeding. Maybe there's more of them now.
There could be. I mean,
Very cool.
They're back in greater numbers.
Very legal and very cool because you
can't hurt them.
You cannot fight back.
Yeah.
The law is on their side. They attack with impunity.
You know, a lot of weird things happen. A lot of bizarre statements are made that I would never assume could exist. And I feel like we're on the cusp of Joe Biden claiming that orcas are Hamas.
Yeah. Who knows? Orcas definitely ate his uncle, though.
That's right. We can all agree on that.
Yeah. But moving on to another recent viral sensation, the portal.
Hey!
A portal between Dublin, Ireland, and New York City was unveiled last week, and it's already been temporarily shut down while they address some serious issues with how it was being used. Now, to clarify, you didn't miss some massive technological breakthrough that would allow humans to instantaneously travel to other parts of the planet. The portal is simply two giant circular screens with a webcam attached. One portal on a street in Dublin and one in New York City. And can you guess why it's already been temporarily shut off?
You know, it's a fucking screen with a camera on it. People are gonna do dumb shit.
It's a camera you can stand in front of and do anything and not face any consequences for it, because the only people that can see you, other than people directly around you, are on the other side of an ocean. So yeah, simple human nature dictates that live video feeds will instantly inspire people to test the limits of decency in arguably the funniest or most disturbing ways possible, and it did not take long at all before the portal nearly caused World War III. So first, let's see what this installation was supposed to achieve.
It's always like a really nice goal, right?
Gosh, it's just so special. Back in the day, you had to travel by sea over a month to get from Dublin to the United States, looking for a new life. And now you can look at this.
If this portal existed back in the early 1910s, the Titanic tragedy would have never happened.
If this portal existed in the 1860s, the Ku Klux Klan would have shut it down.
That's right. So this is how it was supposed to work. The newly installed public technology sculptures, collectively named The Portal, form an unprecedented visual bridge between these two iconic cities, according to a statement from the Flatiron Nomad Partnership, which presented the installation in collaboration with the Simons Foundation and New York City Department of Transportation Art Program. The sculptures are the latest in a series by artist Benedictus Gillies. Portals are an invitation to meet people above borders and differences and to experience our world as it really is, united and one, said Gillies in the statement. The live stream provides a window between distant locations, allowing people to meet outside of their social circles and cultures, transcend geographical boundaries, and embrace the beauty of global interconnectedness.
No, you made chat roulette.
Yeah, that's what you did.
You did a chat roulette permanent installation.
So obviously that didn't happen.
No.
Instead, almost immediately after it was unveiled, you had people in New York calling Irish people wankers, people showing their asses to each other, using the portal as a glory hole, and in the most devastating blow, people on the Dublin side were holding up photos of the 9/11 terrorist attacks and broadcasting that to everyone gathered around the New York side of the portal. So just incredible stuff.
Was this in Times Square?
It was in the Flatiron District, so just slightly outside of Times Square. But yeah, it's still a very populated area.
Yeah. Oh, where that big,
where the Flatiron
that narrow-ass building is.
Yes. Here's the latest on the war portal. from BBC.
Changes will be made to the way a visual art installation linking Dublin to New York is operating due to some individuals engaging in inappropriate behavior, Dublin City Council has said. The portals opened last week in both cities, with many people enjoying the ability to interact with passersby on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. However, on Monday, Irish and U.S. media reported inappropriate behavior over the weekend at the Dublin portal. Videos circulating online included clips of a man mooning and others apparently pretending to take drugs. A caller to RTE Radio told of a woman suspected of being under the influence of alcohol being led away by Irish police after dancing provocatively against the portal screen. In a statement on Monday, the council said the overwhelming majority of interactions are positive, but said a very small minority of people have been engaged in the inappropriate behavior and that this has been amplified through social media. While we cannot control all of these actions, we are implementing some technical solutions to address this, and these will go live in the next 24 hours, it added. We will continue to monitor the situation over the coming days with our partners in New York to ensure that portals continue to deliver a positive experience for both cities and the world.
I don't know what these technical updates are going to be, but I can't imagine them going seamlessly. It's still going to be people whipping their dicks out, mooning it, trying to have sex with it, running into it, and you know, they kind of got us. Like, there's not much you could show to the Irish side that would piss them off. Like, I guess some images from the Troubles, but like,
you could wave a British flag. They wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I guess so. But some of them there would be like, okay, whatever. But the 9/11, everyone is just like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
Only we can make fun of that.
It was really funny putting this in America. People just seem to forget that we're really not the most popular country in the world.
No.
Especially just like, you know, on a personal basis, you meet someone from America or you meet someone from another country, like, hey, pretty cool. Yeah. But as a group, we're not very well liked.
No.
And you are giving people on the other side of the world, or on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, the opportunity to say or do anything in our presence, and we can't fight back.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
You know, and the last time the Irish infiltrated New York, it didn't go so well either.
No, they had those gangs.
The gangs of New York. So the council has not specified what technical changes will actually be made, but you know, I'm not holding my breath for anything substantial. What are they going to do? Black it out when someone shows images of 9/11 again?
They'll have one of America's trained elementary school teachers with a folder. Anytime something on screen, they cover it up with the folder.
They cover everyone's eyes. Yeah. No. Now, I was in New York this past weekend, and I kind of wanted to see it in person, but I knew that I would feel that call of the void. And I would just end up like Naruto running directly into this thing at full speed, attempting to warp myself into Ireland.
Oh, if only.
I knew it wouldn't work, but my adult brain did kick in, and I realized I would probably just end up knocking the portal over and inadvertently killing a small child, so I went for a slice of pizza instead.
Yeah, that's better use of your time, I think.
Yeah. All right, we do have more news coming up for you in just a second, including Donald Trump doing something stupid and Hillary Clinton doing something stupid. What year is it? Stay tuned to find out what year it is in a second. But first, let's thank today's sponsor.
What year do you think it is?
Today's sponsor. The orcas are attacking. Yeah. Hillary's on camera. Trump's saying dumb shit. The Irish are at it again.
Who's to say? It could be any year.
But let's thank today's sponsor in the meantime, and that is Henson Shaving. Believe it or not, I actually remembered to shave this morning, so that makes me an expert. This is maybe the first time we've had a Henson ad read where I actually shaved the morning that it happened.
Good.
Henson is the best shave that you can find, especially when you consider price and sustainability.
That's right. Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer that has made parts for the International Space Station and Mars rover. And now they're bringing precision engineering to your shaving experience. Razor blades are like diving boards. The longer the board, the more wobble, and the more wobble, the more nicks, cuts, and scrapes. Bad shave isn't a blade problem, it's an extension problem. By using aerospace-grade CNC machines, Henson makes metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches, which is less than the thickness of a human hair. That means a secure and stable blade with a vibration-free shave. But wait, it gets better. The razor has built-in channels to evacuate hair and cream, which makes clogging virtually impossible.
Seriously, Henson Shaving wants the best razor, not the best razor business. That means no plastic, no subscription, no proprietary blades, and no planned obsolescence. The Henson razor works with standard dual-edged blades to give you that old-school shave with the benefits of new-school tech. Once you own a Henson razor, it's only about $3 to $5 per year to replace the blades. Honestly, we do love this razor, mainly because it is, of course, infinitely reusable. It gets the job done extremely well, and you are not contributing to more plastic pollution in the process. Also, the handle has a good weight to it. It just feels like a good, strong razor. It's ridiculously cheap to refill over time, and of course, it's always fun to reject modernity and embrace tradition.
It's time to say no to subscriptions. And yes, to a razor that'll last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/ITdaily to pick the razor for you and use code ITdaily. You'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/ITdaily and use code ITdaily. Check them out if you are looking for a good shave. Supporting our sponsors means supporting this show.
All right, back to the news now, and old Donnie Trump, he's still on trial over there in New York City. He was making a break for that portal, and that's why they had to shut it down. No, he's getting away!
Yeah, no extradition. I don't know, do they have extradition?
Well, if you get caught in the portal, you're in a tug of war between two realms. It's a very scary
You get caught in the portal, it's like that Stephen King story where the kid chooses not to go to sleep during the teleportation and ends up, spoiler alert, spending like 10,000 years in the voids just being tortured.
Was that Langoliers or no?
No,
That's
was
the plane one, right?
Fuck, I don't remember the title of it. It's a good story. I'm sorry I spoiled it.
Well, Trump would run and jump into this thing, and then he'd get stuck halfway through.
Longer than you think, Barrett. Longer than you think.
His little feetsies would be wagging on one side, his hands going on the other. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, my very wide waistline has foiled me again. So yes, his trial is moving right along, and recent testimony included statements from Stormy Daniels and also Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen. Most of the stuff that's being shared, it's already known. Though in the case of Stormy Daniels, there appears to have been a few things that were said that probably shouldn't have been. She spoke about a bunch of weird sex shit with Trump, which really doesn't have much to do with the actual case itself, and even the judge admitted it shouldn't have been said in court. But as Mershon pointed out at the time, it is up to Trump's legal team to object to testimony while it is happening, and they did not. Instead, they waited until afterwards and then asked for a mistrial, which the judge did not grant for the reasons that we just explained.
Yeah, no, you had your chance.
Basically, yeah, they tried to file for a mistrial because they failed to object to testimony that wasn't pertinent to the case. And he was like, it is your job to fucking object. So no, you can't just sit there and wait for something to happen.
That's a hell of a legal strategy.
They're trying everything. They're setting new precedents all the time.
You don't understand, Your Honor. I'm so bad at my job that my client didn't get a fair trial.
Yeah, we have to do this over.
So, cut to Monday of this week. We got Michael Cohen, a real pit bull.
Yeah, the pit bull on stand.
Yeah, women love him. Michael Cohen on the stand. And he reiterated the fact that Donald Trump was indeed involved in all aspects of the hush money deal, that it was done because of the 2016 election, and that Trump was the one who ordered the payout. Also, it appears as though Trump is attempting to sidestep the gag order placed on him by Judge Mershon, yet again, by having loyalists from the Republican Party, Ohio's J.D. Vance and Alabama's Tommy Tuberville, join him in court and then represent him publicly through press conferences and media appearances.
Yep, he got two of his favorite sycophants out there to say
I didn't say anything. That was just them.
These guys.
I don't know where they heard that. Wasn't me.
They said some very nasty things, didn't they, folks? But they're all
very nasty, but who knows? I think I agree with them.
A lot of people are saying it's true.
So Vance straight up attacked the judge's family. Tuberville questioned whether or not the jury members were true Americans, and then got really sad about the fact that they call him Mr. Trump in court and not President Trump.
First of all, I'm disappointed in the courtroom. I'm hearing Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump. He is former President Trump. Give him some respect. I mean, that's what that place is in there. It's no respect.
Yeah, he then licked Trump's shoes so clean that they sparkled.
Yeah.
And barked like a dog on all fours.
And then Kristi Noem came and did the hard thing. She put him down.
Took him down to the gravel pit.
As for Trump himself, we'll get to the bizarre Hannibal Lecter quote.
I don't know how this man manages to top himself. Like, you'd figure after 8 years to be like, okay, yeah, he's weird in like a hilarious way. But like, hey, what more could he do or say?
We love him. We love him. Don't we love him?
What did he say? I'm having a friend for dinner. He's a cannibal.
So yeah, we'll get to that. But one of the funniest lies that Trump perpetuated recently was that he had a crowd of 100,000 people, or
Patriots.
100,000 patriots during his New Jersey rally this weekend. And obviously that's not true. But how did he come up with that number? Well, over the weekend, Roger Stone shared an image of just a massive crowd gathered for something, but he claimed that it was Trump's crowd at a rally in Wildwood, New Jersey, tweeting, "Yeah, New Jersey is in play for @RealDonaldTrump. Could Joe Biden draw a crowd like this?" And then he attached the photograph, which is absolutely not New Jersey. And we don't understand how anyone would assume that it was New Jersey. The photo is actually from a Rod Stewart concert in Rio de Janeiro nearly 30 years ago.
Nah, they got palm trees in New Jersey.
They have massive green mountains that extend all the way to the shore.
Yep.
I mean, yes, just looking at the photo. Anyone who has been to New Jersey, seen New Jersey, heard about New Jersey would know that that was not New Jersey.
Anyways, at that massive rally in New Jersey, Trump went on a completely nonsensical rant that included a reference to the great and wonderful man. You know him. You love him.
Let's get him out here on stage. Wheel him out.
America's sweetheart. Yes.
No. Take that mask off. He just wants a little nibble.
I'm, of course, talking about everyone's favorite cannibal, Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal the cannibal.
That's what I call him, Hannibal the cannibal.
They tried to lock him away, so he took that security guard, he ripped his face off, and he wore that face as his own.
And that's what Joe Biden's trying to do to me. And all of you, I'm just standing in their way.
You know what he did? He silenced the lambs.
But I'll never let that happen to you.
The lambs, they're so loud, and Hannibal, he's like, no. Shh. We love him, don't we, folks? Here you go.
Silence of the Lamb. Has anyone ever seen a Silence of the Lamb? The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a wonderful man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner as this poor doctor walked by. I'm about to have a friend for dinner, but Hannibal Lecter. Congratulations, the late, great Hannibal Lecter.
Not to be outdone, though, Hillary Clinton once again shoved her way into into the national conversation to explicitly tell an entire generation of voters that they are stupid, ignorant, and that they have no idea what they're talking about, which is very rich coming from a woman who lost the easiest election in American history and can't even operate a subway turnstile. During an appearance on MSNBC's Morning Joe, Clinton was asked about the protests that have been happening on college campuses around the country. And her response was honestly just dismissive and rude.
Yeah, not really helpful in any way.
Of course, great timing, too, especially when Joe Biden's poll numbers are the worst they've ever been.
Biden's in trouble. You know what he needs? You know who can give him the bump that he needs? Everyone's favorite former presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton.
Hey, you're all stupid.
They are in this crazy bubble. They don't know how much your average person, at the very least, just doesn't want to hear from Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're sinking. Time to wheel her out.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite. She's going to tell them to Pokemon go to the polls. She didn't do that. In fact, she just called all of these literal fucking students morons.
Yeah.
They don't know very much at all about the history of the Middle East, or frankly about history in many areas of the world, including in our own country.
All right, Elliot.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Thank you. Now, in addition to that, the Biden administration admitted on Friday of last week that, Israel probably violated international humanitarian law, but we're not going to do anything about it. Certainly makes it fucking infuriating to vote in this year's election.
Or not vote.
But speaking of this year's election, it's almost pointless to talk about it at this point because she's absolutely not getting the gig.
I don't know.
But Kristi Noem is back in the news after admitting to killing her 14-month-old dog and also maybe meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Maybe.
For some reason.
Possibly, yeah.
Pretty much everyone was like, that never happened, and there's no record of her, like, being there. Like,
You would know.
yeah. This would be huge news.
Kim Jong-un does not meet with people. That's not a thing that happens.
No matter how long ago it was, someone would be like, oh, the governor of South Dakota is meeting with the leader of North Korea right now.
There's like only maybe like 2 times in the last like 10 years where it could have possibly happened. They were very high-profile events.
Yeah,
there was photos and videos.
One of them was Trump saluting the generals from North Korea. So we would have seen it or heard about it. But unfortunately for Kristi Noem, and fortunately for everyone else living in these areas, Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, has been banned from entering certain areas of her state by local tribes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Here's the BBC.
2 Native American tribes in South Dakota have barred its governor, Kristi Noem, from their land as she doubles down on derogatory commentary against tribal leaders and reservation life. What? Yeah, and you know what? While I got your attention, fuck the Native Americans.
Yeah.
Fuck these tribes.
Yeah.
The latest bans add to existing exclusions from 4 other reservations this year. Ms. Noem is now banned from nearly 1/5 of state territory. It comes after the Republican cut short a disastrous national media book tour. Tribal governments have a sovereign right to exclude non-tribal members from their lands, with tribal law enforcement prepared to act if necessary. As governor, Ms. Noem, 52, has often been at odds with these authorities. While tribal and federal authorities have criminal jurisdiction over reservations, she has sought to expand state power. And they added, last week, Mr. Trump acknowledged Ms. Noem has had a rough couple of days, but said he liked her a lot and noted she has been supportive of me from the beginning. According to U.S. media, however, Trump insiders say she has killed her chances of being his vice president.
Just like she killed that dog.
But hey, I heard a rumor, Nikki Haley back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying
Trump.
Nikki Haley. No, actually, she's not. Ha!
He has to make her like come beg for the job first before he tells her no.
I 100% believe the theory that Trump put that out there just to dangle it in front of Nikki Haley so that
psych.
So he can go on Truth Social and be like, nah, I would never do that.
He also went to the Formula 1 race and just posted the entire time on Truth Social. Great stuff.
It's loud, big, fast cars. What are you doing? Stop looking at your phone.
Too loud. Anyways, finally, it's Game Stonk 2.0 time, baby. Because for some odd reason, Roaring Kitty, the guy who led the massive rally for the
See the one with the bandana?
Yeah. He came out of hiding and posted on Twitter, which caused the stock to once again pointlessly skyrocket and then get halted from trading after jumping substantially. Here's NPR. Shares in video game retailer GameStop surged as much as 118% on Monday after meme stock investor Roaring Kitty posted a cryptic image on X, his first post in about 3 years. Roaring Kitty is the online screen name of investor Keith Gill, who became instrumental in creating a trading frenzy behind GameStop and movie theater chain AMC, leading to massive rallies in those stocks in 2021.
On Sunday, Gill reemerged to post a picture of a person who leans forward while gripping a game controller. The stock price shot up even before the market opened and got so volatile that trading was halted several times. Shares ended up 74%. For many investors, it was a reminder of the meme stock mania that gripped markets in 2021 when the pandemic left many people around the world confined at home. GameStop had already been having a bit of a comeback this month. Shares were up 57% this month as of the end of last week, before shares rallied again on Monday. Here we go again, I guess.
Well,
sure. Okay.
Speaking of what year is it, the one good thing about what year is it, we got Furiosa coming out this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty stoked on that. So that is something to look forward to.
And as a sign that it's going to be great, everyone who worked on it sounds like they had a terrible fucking time.
Yeah.
Which that's
the most isolating filming experience I've ever had.
That's the first one. Like, everyone who worked on it was like, there was like so many times I was going to die. Like,
who would have thought
everyone was in a bad fucking mood. We were working like 18-hour days. Like, it fucking sucked ass. It took a year.
Yeah.
And the talk from the crew and cast this time around is the exact same. So I'm like,
we got to hit our hands, folks.
George Miller's torching people in the desert again.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He doesn't give a shit because he's old as fuck. Anyways, that's it for today's video. We are back, meaning we will have plenty more videos coming up for you this week, including what I assume on Tech News Day we'll be talking about the fact that ChatGPT has released literally the pocket computer from her and many other things. But in the meantime, you've already seen them. It doesn't matter. We have videos popping up there. But what we really need is you to click the like button on this video.
Get us back in the algorithm.
We need to get back. We took too much time off. Not that it was time off because we were like doing things, but we need to get back in the algorithm. So if for some reason you're like, I'll like the next video.
No, this one. You like this one.
Click the like button on this one. Leave a comment talking about how cool it is that we're back and reply to a comment. Just engage, for Christ's sake, all right?
We need it.
Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. The videos are up there now. You can watch them if you want. Otherwise, we will be back for more news. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Every YouTuber knows when your YouTube channel is doing well, make a video that probably no one will click on. But I've wanted to talk about this for a while, and that is messaging apps. Specifically, every single app being a messaging app now. And obviously it's been a takeover that's been happening since 2016. You can even go back to like 2010 with the emergence of iMessage, which, you know, I used on my iTouch 4 back in the day. But I want to talk about like this in terms of how it makes social media antisocial. And of course, the purpose of it is pretty much to trap you to a specific app. But it's gotten to a point now for me where it just makes no sense. Like, I am having different conversations with the same person on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. I'm not joking. I'm thinking of one friend in particular where in each different chat, we're talking about different things. And I'm thinking how insane that is that I will ignore his messages on Instagram and Facebook, but reply to him on WhatsApp. And we both know I'm ignoring the other messages, but we just act like it's totally normal. I will only reply to one thing he says, and it won't cross over between them. And I know for a lot of people that might seem insane, but I also bet there are other people who can relate. And it's made even worse when you're actually in the same group chats as well. So me and this person probably share like maybe 6 or 7 different chats together across all social media platforms. And there's so much other stuff I want to talk about. Like me specifically, I have just like so many unopened messages on everything, made worse by the fact that I have like 2 kind of like profiles. I have my YouTube profile, my social media personality, and I have my real life personality. So I have to juggle both of them. But even if I wasn't juggling both of them, I'd still have just like so many messages to deal with. And I want to talk about like the mentality we have towards messages. You know, it gets to a point where we won't even open them because we'll see like one friend has sent us 16 messages in a row. And I'm so guilty of this. I know I am. I know if you guys have messaged me, which a few people on Instagram probably have watching this video, I send so many messages back because I always want to have like some sort of meaningful conversation in the DMs. I don't want to be too brief to come across as rude, but then I know what happens is people will see that and never ever reply. And that's actually happened. We've actually been having a conversation, me with strangers, and they just don't reply because I sent them so much stuff. But I get it as well because I'm the exact same. There are definitely people who've messaged me on Instagram where my DMs are open, where it's just been buried. Like so many weeks ago, you probably sent me 4 messages, and then I never opened that in the week, and then it just got buried under loads and loads more messages, which I get all the time. So I want to talk about all of this today, but I will shout out my own social media. So follow me on Instagram, my travel and my personal one. Yes, I do reply to a lot of DMs on my personal Instagram. So if you ever wanted to DM me, that's the place. But also I have Blue Sky and Threads, and Blue Sky is getting a DM feature soon. Just another social media app I have that definitely doesn't need a messenger. And obviously I have my Patreon, and if you support the Patreon, you get access to the Discord server where we talk about a variety of things as well. And one more thing, because I promoted my social media, please, people who have messaged me on Instagram, don't get offended by anything I'm saying here. Like, I do like talking to you guys on Instagram. The only thing I want to highlight is I just get overwhelmed by everything. It's not just the Instagram messages. I think if I just only had my YouTube Instagram and they're the only messages I was getting, I could handle it. But I have so many others. And on that note, I want people to think about this. How many unopened DMs do you have across social media? And I'm going to tell you mine. It's actually fucking insane. And also, one unopened DM isn't like one not opened message. it can be like loads, and I know I definitely have that. Now, I'm not going to show you the screenshots of all of them because it's got my real name and stuff, but on Instagram, I have 6 unopened chats on my personal one. I have 11 on my YouTube one. On my personal Facebook, I have 8 unopened messages. On my WhatsApp right now, I have 9, and one of the people who's messaged me has actually sent me 16 messages without reply, and that's totally fine with this guy because we do take so long to message each other back, so that's all right as well, and that can kind of factor in. And on top of that, I also have 116 unopened emails, so I have all of that stuff just waiting for me to click on and reply to. The emails are less important, but a lot of those DMs I do take time to reply to, especially my YouTube one, where I am in essence talking to strangers. Although a lot of you I have DMs, for months, even years at this point. We have a good DM relationship, if that's even a thing. But then a lot of people are just like new people who will message me. And I also think I have about 3 message requests as well. And all of that together, do you know what it makes me want to do? Not open any of them, which kind of defeats the purpose of having this function in the first place. And I don't use my LinkedIn, and also I don't have TikTok, and I don't have Snapchat, and also I shut my Twitter DMs like years ago, right? So I don't get any new DMs on there from people I'm not mutuals with. But some of you guys will be the same as me, that you have so many apps that are also a messaging app. And why is this a thing? And that's kind of what the video is about. But I want everyone to cast their mind back to a day before like messaging apps took over. So I was born in 1995. The first social media I had was Bebo, and then it was Facebook. Now, Facebook did have messages. I think it had messages, but most of the time we posted on each other's wall. People could join in, but I think there was direct messages. But the big one back in the day for me was MSN Messenger. And a lot of people would spend time on that. I don't believe you could have group chats, but I might not actually remember that. Maybe there were, but I didn't really have any. And then also, a lot of people back in the day, you had BBM Messenger, which was another instant messenger for BlackBerry phones and has a very interesting history in relation to the London riots as well. And of course, back in the day, you had your old phone. So 2009, 2010, most of us still didn't have smartphones. I think I got my first smartphone in 2011. I got my first smart device, my iTouch 4, in Christmas 2010, I believe. So there was a lot of time I just had a pay-as-you-go phone. And what you'd have to do, for people who don't remember those days, you'd have to go to the shop and the newsagents and say, can I have £5 credit for like O2 or whatever? And you'd get that much, and a text message would be like 20p. So when you were out and about in the world, you could call and text, but you had to top up your phone to do this. And why BBM Messenger took off is that you could get a contract that was cheap and use this instant messenger as much as you wanted. But for people like me who just had a regular phone for a while, it was just like absolutely extortionate. But the good thing it did was it kind of segmented everything. And actually people didn't have access to you 24/7. And that's a big theme of this video. Everyone now has access to you, not only 24/7, but no matter where you go. So back in the day, if you wanted to contact me in like early 2010, you could ring me. If I was on the computer using MSN, or if I was on the computer using Facebook and you saw I was online, then you could send me a personal direct message on Facebook, which I could take time to reply on, or I could be online on MSN and we could initiate a chat, a one-on-one chat. But what it meant is my kind of time and my replies were consensual, and there was no kind of like massive social aspect to this because it was just one-on-one. MSN, one-on-one. Facebook messages, one-on-one. Facebook wall posts, I could just ignore that, say I didn't see it, or say I was out and busy. And if you really wanted me, you could text me, but then I could take my time to reply to that text to one person, and it also cost money. So it was more valuable. I'm not gonna spam you with 16 messages in a row because that would cost me money and I'd burn up the money I topped up. And I'm only a kid at this point, so my parents aren't giving me loads of money to do these things. But yeah, sometimes technological advancement doesn't bring good things with it. So in 2010, I remember getting iMessage, but a lot of people I know didn't have iPhones at the time, so it was kind of useless. I had like maybe 2 or 3 friends I'd sometimes text on it when I was at home using the Wi-Fi, but when I went out, I couldn't use it because my iTouch didn't have 3G signal, so it was pretty useless there. So it was pretty much the same. You know, I'd text people. And I remember something shifted, and I can't put my finger on it because I didn't get WhatsApp originally. I still use iMessage, and me and my girlfriend have been together 11 years, and we pretty much use iMessage back in the day. But at some point, along came Facebook Messenger, and I think it must have been like 2015, 2016. And to a lot of people, you are finally getting exposed to the concept of the group chat. And although I'm sure these existed before, it was this whole other way to communicate. It was instant messenger, but you could literally be in a group chat with like 20 other people, and you have that social pressure now of getting in on the group chat and keeping up with the group chat. And WhatsApp made this essentially explode because no matter your device, you could get WhatsApp on it. It wasn't like iMessage or BBM where it was very exclusive to a particular brand. Now you could just have instant messenger replacing text. And now you're just accessible to people all the time. And then every single social media app decided we also must have a DM feature. So like I outlined for you at the start, all the unopened DMs I have across everywhere. And it's not consensual at all for the most part because people can just message anyone now and you expect them to reply, I guess. Or maybe if you reply once, they expect you to reply forever. And if you're like me and you have like 2 different lives, you have the YouTube view and you have the real life view, it just gets completely overwhelming. And why do all these apps offer a messenger when you don't need it? I mean, because they want you to stay on their platform, don't they? Ignoring Zuckerberg nearly having a monopoly, Twitter has private messages because they want you to do everything on Twitter. The same way Instagram has it, the same way Facebook does it, the same way a load of these things do it. I think TikTok even has one now as well. Because they don't want you ever leaving the app, and they also know, you know, you spend more time replying to people as well because you might be thinking out your replies. So all around, these social media companies want your attention generally, and having like DMs, private chats, or just group chats now. And now Instagram has this like Discord like channel feature now as well, just to hook you even more to this social media site. And in the attention economy, it's just another part of their arsenal designed to get you hooked to these apps. But like I said, the consequence is we all have multiple social media apps. This isn't China. We're not all on WeChat. We all have so many different ones, and I'm sure you experience this as well. Sometimes I really want someone to reply to my message. This happens every week when I'm panic organising five-a-side football, where I'm posting in the group chat, tagging people on Facebook, can you reply and let me know if you're playing? And then sometimes I go on WhatsApp and then even onto Instagram to keep messaging these people saying, are you gonna play? Are you gonna play? Because they're probably doing the same thing I do, is when you're getting so many messages, you don't actually pay attention to any of them. And it's super detrimental because no matter how many times I contact people on various different platforms, not just for the football example, sometimes they just won't reply until they're good and ready. And while saying that, I kind of thought of something. It's the death of the casual message. Because for me personally, when I reply to one, I start replying to all of them, but I get into the headspace of, okay, now it's time to DM, but that means I have to set aside like 20 minutes to reply to all my DMs. And then I don't want to do that every single day. So even now I'm thinking right now, I owe people money from like a stag do I went on. And I messaged them asking for their bank details, but now I've ignored a couple of them for a couple of days because I need to sit down and go through like all my DMs. It's just exhausting. Now, I'm not alone, and this has been documented for a while, although I couldn't find many videos on this. I read an article in The Guardian, which I thought was quite good. Why too many messages make us want to throw our phones at the wall. So when Sene Lara, a 28-year-old video producer in LA, was confronted by her friends about her lack of communication in the group chat, the accusations were as follows. She only caught up every few days, that's like me. When she did, it was barely an interaction. Lara spent time hearting messages instead of responding, and sometimes she would never respond. Lara did not deny it. She knew she sometimes preferred to throw her phone in a corner and completely avoid it rather than deal with the onslaught of requests. It wasn't until Lara addressed her behavior in therapy that she realized she felt anxious from texting because of her tendency to please those around her. As therapists describe, people pleasers are less likely to have boundaries around communication, which smartphones barely provide. I never understood why it would be so difficult to communicate with, but then I realized it was all online. In person, Lara felt comfortable talking with people, but when communication came down to a text message, an email, or a direct message, she wanted to tap out. While social media and messaging apps claim to keep us more connected to each other, many younger users are finding themselves exhausted from receiving constant notifications, balancing numerous exchanges at once, and carrying conversations that can last all day and sometimes over the course of a week. For after effect, delayed responses, forgetting to get back to someone entirely, and a need for frequent phone breaks. And I relate to this article so hard. In fact, a 2020 study exploring the effects of information overload and online conversation dynamics found that the overexposure to information can suppress the likelihood of response by overloading users. The average American has 47 unread text messages and 1,600 unopened emails, and yet the average phone screen time for American adults is 4.2 hours per day, more than ever. This suggests people are spending more time on their phones and still have less time to complete conversations. We are all Senate Lara, really, aren't we? Because so many of us do that. And so many of us do what I've described, right? It's something now which it seems to be inescapable that you just ignore all contact, but that means you ignore them equally. You will ignore important messages that need instant replies because you categorize these direct communications as the same thing. Intrusions into your personal space without any consent, and whether it's someone just sending you a stupid TikTok or someone actually asking you an important question that needs a reply within the hour, you just don't want to answer it. And I totally get it as someone who's completely overwhelmed by direct messages, that you just don't want to reply to any of them, but you also don't want to reply to all of them, despite the fact that I'm having direct messages with people I've known for 20 years and who are my friends and I want to talk to. I'm ignoring them as much as I'm ignoring some rando who sends me a hate DM on Instagram, because I'm viewing it as all the same thing, all the same exhausting thing, and I feel like I have to reply to everything. But if I'm going to do that, I need to take time out of my day to do that. And obviously in the attention economy, because of, profit motive, capitalism, none of these social media companies would really allow, let's say, a third-party app to come in and be the chat for everyone. Like, you couldn't link your Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and TikTok to one messenger that would keep it all centralized, because why would you? And I guess that is kind of what WhatsApp was advertised for the phone ecosystem. But now we have that amongst so many different messengers, it just becomes so pointless. And it goes to my point of another video I made about why, TikTok and Twitter are so terrible now, and talking about enshittification and why the user experience is like degrading so much. But in that video, I also talked about every social media platform becoming the exact same thing. And while saying that, I just realized I also have 9 messages on Reddit as well, which I haven't brought up yet. But Reddit is now like TikTok in some ways. You have like a video player and you can start scrolling like TikTok. Twitter does this as well. YouTube Shorts is now a rival to TikTok. Instagram obviously copied TikTok with Reels, but Instagram also copied Snapchat as well, with like so many other different features. And all of these social media apps are just basically indistinguishable from each other. They all serve the exact same purpose, apart from, because you have so many, you have so much division among like your time and like what people you talk to on which. And now, as it's getting worse, I have Twitter, I have Threads, and I have Blue Sky, and they all serve the exact same function. But this video isn't really talking about solutions, because I'm just pointing out a problem. But like, what is the solution to this? What is the solution to having like 50 unopened DMs? What is the solution to being in multiple group chats while having 3 DMs with one of your friends who's in that group chat where you talk about different things in all of them? It's like we're segmenting different conversations for different apps. And I actually am doing that with this one friend I'm thinking of. And like that article outlined for The Guardian, there's the peer pressure element. If you're not keeping up, well, of course you're going to miss the banter, you're going to miss the jokes. But also, people are going to be thinking, what the fuck's this person's problem? They're not even engaging in our relationship anymore. And that's why sometimes technology growing and advancing is not always a good thing. Sometimes the more basic forms, maybe the 2009 form I had of messaging, where you had your text messages, then you had your instant messenger on a desktop or a laptop, and maybe had some sort of like direct message on Facebook. Maybe less was more back then, and you'd actually reply, and you'd actually use social media for its purpose of being social virtually on the internet, which we seem to be increasingly moving away from, where everyone just wants to make a little safe bubble for themselves on the internet and not reply to anyone, which I know I've been doing lately, especially as someone who's been on the battlegrounds on Twitter like my entire adult life fighting with randos. Now I just don't even want to engage with anything like that anymore. Now, like I said, there are no solutions, but here is one thing I do recommend to everyone, and it's just to make yourself feel better. First of all, turn off your notifications for all of these unless it's important. So I know on my phone I have Do Not Disturb on all the time, and the only people who could break through that are my girlfriend and my mum and my dad. I don't have notifications on for Facebook Messenger. I definitely don't have notifications on for any other messenger. And I know what messages I prioritize. Like on Facebook, I know it's the football one, so I'll go onto that when I need to, and I'll keep up to date with that one specifically. Like I'll literally go on my phone just to check that. So put Do Not Disturb on, customize your settings. But also here's another one as well. When you go to bed, this is something I've been doing recently, and I love it so much. If you're on an iPhone, put on sleep mode. What sleep mode does is you don't get any notifications. And when you look at your phone in the morning, like look at the home screen before you unlock it, there will be nothing there. And when you open your phone, you'll see nothing as well. So you have to go on each app individually and like look at the messages or whatever. And it's such a better way because when you wake up, you aren't overwhelmed by 50 messages on a group chat. You're not overwhelmed by like loads of text messages from loads of different people across loads of different apps. It's just nothing. And although it might not be a good thing in replying quicker, we all know we're not replying quickly anyway, right? So if we all know and agree we aren't replying instantly to instant messenger, what is the harm in making sure we don't wake up to an absolute barrage of messages? If anyone has any better ideas of engaging with the overwhelming amount of DMs, please post it in the comments. But yeah, just a little fun one today. And although I like to get political, I like to talk about economics on this channel, I mean, you could blame capitalism for this in a way because, like I said, every social media platform is essentially the same thing. So therefore, it has to have an instant messenger. I also think there's stuff to do with like psychology and everything else and just how humans act involved in this. But I just thought it'd be a fun one to talk about because it's been annoying me for a while and I feel like I need to say it. But yeah, as I said, please don't be turned off giving me a message on Instagram if you do like want to talk or message me something. I do enjoy getting messages. I'm just saying overall, with the amount I receive from everyone in my real life and my YouTube life across all these social media profiles, it can just get overwhelming to the point where I won't reply for 3 weeks. But as people probably can attest to in the comments here, I actually am good at replying eventually. Like I do remember eventually. But anyway, that is it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.
As you know, the fascinating penis-themed trial of Professor Donald Bartholomew Trump continued today. What you might not know is that it is not the only salacious high-level government official trial going on today, because right across the street in New York's famed public corruption district, New Jersey Democratic Senator Robert Menendez, my God, Menendez turned heel. They're not booing, well, they were booing, yes. He faced his first day of reckoning.
Federal prosecutors allege the former chair of the powerful Senate Foreign Relations Committee conspired with his wife Nadine to accept bribes from a trio of wealthy businessmen in exchange for political favors to help the governments of Qatar and Egypt.
The powerful senator allegedly pressured the Department of Agriculture to help an associate maintain a monopoly on the importation of halal meat to the United States.
I don't mean to get sentimental here, but in what other country in the world can a Cuban-American senator work hand-in-hand with an Egyptian-born businessman to corner the halal meat market? Living in America. But yes, Senator Menendez is accused of using his access and influence as a senator to illegally help a variety of shady governments and clients. What evidence do we really have?
Federal agents searched the Menendez home in June 2022, finding over $480,000 in cash.
2 bags filled with $100,000 each.
$100,000 worth of gold bars.
Payments toward a mortgage.
The Mercedes-Benz convertible.
Furniture, exercise equipment, even an air purifier.
4 boots stuffed with cash.
Cash even found in the senator's embroidered congressional jacket.
Sacrilege! Cash in the lining of a congressional jacket, which, oddly enough, is reversible. But the money is in his house, and his jacket, and his boots, and his lining, and his pockets. But none of it ties the money to Menendez or Egypt.
The indictment says upon returning from one trip to Egypt, Menendez performed a web search for how much is 1 kilo of gold worth.
Damn you, metric system! I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for your meddling kids and your base 10 system of measurements and weights. There could be a lot of reasonable, benign explanations for why a senator's house would be stuffed with cash and gold bars. Home heating insulation, perhaps, or something stupider?
According to the New York Times, his lawyers now offering a new explanation as to why he had thousands of dollars in gold and in cash in his home. They say that the habit is rooted in traumatic family history.
These are simply my emotional support gold bars. Whenever I am not with them, I get anxious. Will respond to trauma in different ways. Now, when it comes to any trial, the first step, of course, and we've seen this play out endless times, finding an impartial jury.
Defense attorneys have proposed asking prospective jurors if they have opinions about people from New Jersey. And do they think that because they are from New Jersey that they're more likely to break the law?
You motherfuckers. You bury one union leader at your football stadium whilst running a human organ trafficking ring through some Secaucus rabbis, and suddenly your whole state is a suspect. You believe this, Tone? Huh? Tone, you believe this? Anti-New Jersey discrimination, that's what it is. So obviously this is shaping up to be one of the more cartoonishly blatant corruption cases in some time. Jersey guy with gold bars stuffed in his jacket and a nice freezer of some halal meats. Anything else that might speak to the general character of this United States senator?
Menendez has denied any wrongdoing. According to court filings, his lawyers indicate he may try to blame his wife.
Yes, it's those 3 magic words that every woman is dying to hear. It was her! She did it! You know, I'd feel a lot worse for her if she wasn't also a demonstrably terrible person. But read up on it. Perhaps I can't explain everything right now. I'll just say this. F***ing awful. But perhaps the dumbest thing about this entire not quite believable Real Housewives episode is how unnecessary it all is. You, sir, are an elected official in America's most respected legislative body. It's like a license to print money. You don't need to break the law so cartoonishly when the legal corruption in the Senate is so Which brings us to our new segment, Senator Robert Menendez. How dumb is you? As a New Jersey resident, as a constituent of yours, Senator Menendez, I have to ask with all due respect, how dumb is you? Promising favors to foreign entities for a little chump change on the side? It's Bush League, when as a U.S. Senator, you can enrich yourself in so many different, let's call them legal ways. For instance, the stock market.
Members of Congress's stock portfolios consistently beat the S&P 500.
The average hedge fund was beating the market at 7%. The study found that the average U.S. senator was beating the stock market by 12%.
The average U.S. senator. And if you think it's because the average U.S. senator is just so smart, this is the average U.S. senator. Tommy Tuberville, an ex-football coach who doesn't know the 3 branches of government. Oh, but when it comes to the stock market, he sees the matrix. How do they do it? Well, the secret is a shrewd understanding of the intricate interconnectivity of global markets. I'm kidding. They have inside information.
California Congressman, Democrat, named Alan Lowenthal, his wife sold shares of Boeing March 5th of 2020. The very next day, the committee on which he serves in the House released a damaging report on the Boeing 737 MAX.
Oh my God, what timing! You see that? See, the rest of us only find out about Boeing's problems as we're being sucked out of the fuselage mid-flight, just flying out over the wing. You're flying in the air over the wing. Sal! Sal! I don't think they're good. And it happens all the time. North Carolina Senator Richard Burr received a private briefing in 2020 about how bad the COVID pandemic was going to be for America, and he immediately sold off his stocks, saving himself a small fortune. Of course, he had a reasonable explanation.
We wanted to ask you about those stock trades back in February of 2020. The SEC says that you had material, non-public information when you made those trades. I didn't look at what you put out. How is that not insider trading?
I'm so sorry, sir. I wanted to answer your question. If only there was a button that kept these elevator doors open. I don't. By the way, for those of you at home who don't have a gold-plated elevator, you can avoid these types of questions yourself just by pretending to take the stairs. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't really tell that. I'm going to take an elevator back up. I would do that bit more, but my knees. As soon as I did the first one, because I didn't do it in rehearsal, I did it just now, and I was like, that's not a good idea. That's one of those where like, stop the taping and pull me back up. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, how does Congress get away with all this? Well, maybe because Congress is regulated by, let me check my notes, Congress! And it's Congress that has refused to even hold a vote on the bills that have been proposed to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. Because not letting members of Congress insider trade would be un-American. Just listen to one of the biggest beneficiaries of this stock windfall.
Should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
No, I don't know to the second one. This is a free market and people, we are a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that.
Ah, free market. Excuse me, Ms. Speaker, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm Martha Stewart from the Why the Did I Go to Jail Times Picayune. Why the did I go to jail? But here's the thing. In a free market, everyone has access to the same information. So unless you're going to put all of us on the committees, I don't get it. Now, to be fair, Congress does have rules against corruption. Members of Congress are not allowed to receive what might be viewed as enticements or bribes from lobbyists. No free concert tickets. They cannot accept food, baked goods, sandwiches, etc. It just would not be proper. But in Congress's infinite wisdom, they do allow organizations to set up what are called leadership PACs, where a congressperson can turn political donations from lobbyists into slush funds. A pharma lobbyist cannot buy a senator a panini and some NyQuil. But through the PAC, they can pay for 5-star hotels for Kirsten Gillibrand, luxury resorts for Ted Cruz, and even golf lessons for Rand Paul. It's all in Ayn Rand's famous book, Atlas Putted. It's corruption. Really? That's my literate crowd. I read that in college, actually. This is corruption in plain sight. We won't accept gifts, but if I want to have a luxury experience and you would like to pay for it and then join me on said experience where we can discuss issues important to you and your industry, who's the wiser, right? Senator Mike Lee of Utah?
Shortly after this slopeside lunch for 22 friends, we decided to ask Senator Mike Lee just why he's doing this.
Politicians raise funds, and this is what we do.
I just wonder if you like this.
I enjoy skiing. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
From now on, I am ending every uncomfortable conversation I ever have about anything with, I enjoy skiing. Good day. But are luxury lobbying vacations still too much work, Senator Menendez? Because you could always write laws that directly benefit your side business, like the way Senator Chuck Grassley netted $370,000 in farm subsidies, or the $5.3 million that California Rep. Doug LaMalfa got for his gentleman farm. And by the way, for that much money, you better be growing actual f***ing gentlemen. It's all legal and not a gold bar in sight. Or you can leverage your stature in government to get lucrative lobbying positions for your wife and your 3 kids, like Missouri Senator Roy Blunt.
I don't even understand why that would be a question. Everybody's family does something.
My father was a corporate lobbyist, like his father and his father before him. Yes, everybody's family does something. For instance, your daughter might receive unusually green-lighted Chinese patents. Or your son-in-law might receive billions in no-questions-asked Saudi investment. Or your son might get a lucrative seat on a corporate board. Let's hear Hunter explain that one away.
If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma?
I don't know. Probably not.
Holy shit. Out of all the senators and representatives who dodged and prevaricated and wouldn't answer any questions, you know you're in trouble when the most honest and transparent person in a story of government corruption is the ex-crackhead. Yeah. Now, you might... I don't know if I like John Stewart. Now you might think someone should step in and stop Congress from being able to enrich themselves. Perhaps the Supreme Court. Well, it will come as no surprise that the same guys who think it's fine to accept a luxury Winnebago from a wealthy businessman have made it much harder to police corruption. In a decision called McDonnell versus the United States, they said that the appearance of corruption is not nearly enough for it to be considered against the law. It must be
this very narrow quid pro quo idea. You know, I'm going to give you kind of like a cartoonish sack of money in exchange for an actual vote.
Whilst twirling my handlebar mustache. At every turn, our Congress and our courts have been given a choice. Be less corrupt or redefine what constitutes corruption and get on with your bad selves. It's a game of reverse limbo. Having trouble getting under the bar of corruption we've set? Well, how about now? Robert Menendez's gold bars in exchange for favorable legislation is obviously cartoonishly corrupt. But for anyone out there who thinks the status quo of government patronage and influence is of an entirely different species than Menendez, How dumb is you?
Changing mag. I'm feeling a bit lightheaded, but it might be this joint, man.
That's all you got for that? He just said nuke Gaza.
Dropped him.
He said, why would we have to nuke Gaza when Israel has more conventional weapons that it can use for more precise targeting? Like you don't have an issue with the nuking Gaza portion? All right, let's continue. Bernie Sanders popping off.
Now is the independent senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Good to be with you. Going back to Israel is crazy law. The same thing people find absurd about Putin's historical justification for invading Ukraine. We have to go back to the year 400. They simultaneously turn around and use to say Israel is the holy land of the Jews going back 4,000 years. Yeah. Exactly. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, the idea that even if there was no Palestinian history, no Palestinian land, none whatsoever, the notion that you could just like go there and operate as a settler colonial operation and just like fucking purge the villages and then never allow them to return is unconscionable. It's so fucking ridiculous, dude. It's so goddamn ridiculous. No, that was your argument, Law. What does right to return mean? Right to return for the Palestinians that were pushed away from their villages by psychopathic, rabid, rapist, Zionist terrorists. Okay? Genuine question, how is the United States anything like Judea and Samaria? Their history is so different. I don't understand why you compare their history as if they're apples to apples. I don't think you will understand what I am saying because you're too fucking hopped up on the Zionist programming that it is impossible for you to comprehend a world where it is not okay to destroy the indigenous population of a land or in any case whatsoever. Like, that's why I gave you the example of Native Americans. If Native American tribes somehow got fucking nukes and shit, okay, and were propped up by an infinitely more powerful force, it's not even a comparison that we can make because America is the hegemonic superpower. But if aliens came down and were like, yo, the Native American tribes are actually going to do mass genocide, permanent genocide of the first world, even then there is a direct reason as to why, there's a direct reason as to why they would be able to do that, unlike the Israeli settlers, the early Zionists that weren't even Israeli at that point, okay, wiping out Palestinian villages that had nothing to do with them whatsoever. But even then, if Native Americans were armed to the fucking teeth by aliens, okay, in a way that is infinitely more powerful than America, it still would be unconscionable for them to go and like wipe out New York and push everybody away into Mexico or some shit, okay? Or push everyone into fucking Florida and then keep bombing them mercilessly and consistently. You're insane. The right to return for Palestinians is the right for them to go back to their fucking homes, man, to their villages, to be able to have full citizenship. It's not that complex. You are just dancing around the actual fucking, you're dancing around the actual issue because you personally don't want to fucking give them that, okay? That's it. Because demographic concerns. Has Hamas to stop? Then, yeah, dude, in 1948, Hamas was definitely operational. You said right to return from land you were pushed off of, so that's what you are defining right to return as. But what I'm saying is, how do you reconcile the right to return of Jews, Kingdom of Israel's before any event you said? Brother, you are literally schizophrenic, okay? If you think that there is a valid comparison between 4,000 years of history. And you are not hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm telling you, okay? Let's not go 4,000 years in history. Let's go to like, I don't know, 300, 400 years back in history. If the Native Americans came in and killed all Americans, it would still be completely unimaginably cruel and would not be acceptable. Okay?
We've taken the lead.
What the fuck are you saying? Kingdom of Israel, right there and there. Right there and there. For Jews only. No one else. That's you. That's what you sound like. You fucking dumb bitch. Fuck.
Taking fire,
It's additionally stupid. It's additionally fucking stupid because you're literally talking about killing the people that literally stayed there. I didn't even say anything bad about you, Hassan. No disrespect. Man, I don't give a fuck if you personally disrespect me or not. Okay? You are disrespecting millions of fucking Palestinians by invoking that Jews have a right to return to Israel, and that actually encompasses a far more important right, that sovereignty allows Israel to do genocide to the Palestinian population over and over again. You're defending genocide. That is infinitely more disgusting than any number of different things you could say to me, okay? You can disrespect me all fucking day. I don't give a shit.
Enemy.
What you are doing in an effort to defend genocide in the midst of an ethnic cleansing campaign is far more disrespectful than any number of different things you could say to me that is bad. Okay?
Oh, turns out karma is good aim, man. Dropped him. Switching mags. Requesting recon.
UAV is on station. Recon online.
No, I wasn't actually personally offending you. I don't personally see that. I was just asking to clarify the position. If you argue indigenous people are right to a land that is intrinsic, well, how do we define who is indigenous? That's my question. Brother, I don't think you understand it. I don't think you understand what I'm saying at all. You literally, it's like this, okay? If I came to your house, okay, and killed you, and alongside with a bunch of other Native American people, okay, I just broke through your door and fucking massacred your whole family. You had to flee. I put you in basically an open air prison. I pushed you away from your fucking home. And then I turned around and said, listen, dog, people just fucking lived here before you. Sorry. You would be feeling some type of fucking way. You're like, what do you mean people used to live here? I lived here for hundreds of fucking years. This is the house that my parents lived in. The fuck are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about? You wouldn't go, well, technically, these people were indigenous 4,000 years ago. You would never make that argument. It's so fucking stupid. I agree with that, obviously. No, you fucking don't. Because the irony of what you are explaining is that if you go back 4,000 fucking years, the Palestinians that you understand as Palestinians, Muslims, Christians, and even some Palestinian Jews, as a matter of fact, that were there in 1948 and even before 1948 were like direct descendants of those who remained in Judea and Samaria. They were Jews originally, and then they converted. This is not a gotcha, man. Stop. Just shut the fuck up, please. I don't know why I'm trying to get I don't know why I'm trying to get this information over your dense fucking skull, because you will never understand that. Important to clarify, we're not even saying Jews aren't allowed to live on that land. They were living there before the Zionist Project. The Israel people are allowed to live there, just not continue to uphold an apartheid state. Exactly.
Well, we appreciate your being here on a busy Sunday morning. I want to start with your reaction to that State Department.
Look, now he moved on, and there was no violence for Jews. You only paint one side of history. Yes, dude. Except the Palestinians didn't do the Holocaust. The Palestinians didn't do the fucking pogroms. The Palestinians that are being killed since 1948, and even before then, had nothing to do with any of that shit. Okay? You can't just randomly turn around, move the goalposts, and decide that, like, no, we're going to kill these people because the Bible said so, because 4,000 years ago we used to live here, except those people are literally direct descendants of the people that we're talking about, but it doesn't really matter. Fuck them. I want this land, and it's mine now. I mean, the Palestinian, bro, I knew that this talking point was coming literally 8 steps ago. That's why I addressed it 12 minutes ago. Someone clip it. Someone send the clip to this fucking dumbass so we can watch it. I knew that you were going to make this talking point. I knew that you were, it's not that I have precog, okay? I know Hasbara. I know propaganda. I pre-debated the position that you literally were going to arrive at once we exhausted the other idiotic fucking position that you put forward. I pre-debated you and won.